Hey everyone, I'm Whitney and this is my YouTube channel. Welcome. It's important for all of us to know when we are being ignorant, when we are being racist, when we are being prejudiced, etc. Because sometimes we don't realize it. We may think, no, I'm not racist, but we may have said something that came off pretty racist. You may have biases and not even realize it. So I challenge you to think. I challenge you to call yourself out on your ignorance, on your racism, on your biases. This is what I did and this is not okay. Don't do this. Don't do what I did. I do hair, okay? And at this particular time, I was booth renting, and the majority of people that I worked with, co-workers as well as clients, were pretty prejudiced and were really racist. There were a lot of things that would be said. They would make me so upset and I would get so angry. So you guys are able to understand more of the story. I'm gonna tell you that my boss didn't like me. Everything I did was wrong. It didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter how I did it. Whether I did something or didn't do it, it was gonna be wrong. Like I remember, on Saturdays mornings, should I get the coffee ready or not? If we don't have a lot of people coming in, she's gonna get upset with me for getting the coffee ready. But if she comes in here and she's got a bunch of people coming in that she didn't put down on the book, she's gonna be pissed off at me for not starting coffee. So I lose either way. There is this woman, I swear. So I would bite my tongue on so many things and I hated doing it and I hate that I did it. There were times when I had stood up and said something to people that's not cool, just because your cousin's friend's sister's aunt had a friend who had an uncle who once went on an Indian reservation and saw a few people drinking there, doesn't mean that everybody on the reservation is drunk. It doesn't mean all natives are drunks, okay? That's not how it works. Sorry, I'm getting worked up. And I would tell them this. I said, you know what? I actually grew up on the reservation. Just because you see some people like that doesn't mean everybody is like that, right? Just because a lot of white people are racist doesn't mean all white people are racist, right, Karen? My boss didn't like it when I corrected somebody. My boss really did not like me. But yeah, I was rude. That was rude of me to correct somebody, and they might not want to come back because they might feel attacked. Well, I was feeling attacked. I grew up there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I really don't think Karen's uncle's aunt, blah, 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 knows more than I do, okay? There was another time where a guy was talking about traditional clothing and, headdresses and ceremonial things and stuff like that. I'm so pissed. He had the audacity to call ceremonial clothing, to call traditional clothing. He had the audacity to call it costume. We're just 5 years old dressing up in mom's clothes, what the F?
No.
This guy was going to be going to take a church group to a reservation, I don't know where, and I was like, you know what, you better not be saying that, you better not be calling them costumes when you're there, because that's not okay and it's very insulting. And he's like,
oh yeah, I know.
It's well, then why the did you say it? Anyways, no matter how much I knew, where I grew up, it didn't matter. None of that mattered to my boss. I was still rude. It was still not okay for me to tell somebody else what to do. Oh, but she could. She definitely could. The rules didn't apply to her. She could say whatever she wanted to whoever she wanted, whenever she wanted. And honestly, I'm ashamed to admit it. I stopped standing up for other people because I was afraid of my boss. I was afraid she's gonna give me a hard time again. She's gonna make my life harder. She is gonna fire me, or she is going to leave me here and torture me. I'm better off biting my tongue and keeping my mouth shut. So I would often vent to my friend about all of this stuff and all the ignorant things that people would say, and how I would get in trouble if I would say something. He had a job that would allow for his downtime, and when I didn't have clients in the chair, I would message back and forth with him. And a lot of times it was complaining. It was complaining about our jobs, okay? Well, or the people we have to work with. And I'd tell him I'd feel sorry, like I'm sorry I'm not sticking up. I'm sorry I'm not saying anything. Like, I'm sorry I'm a coward, you know? But he knew that she was evil anyways. So, you guys, you'll like this. Well, maybe you won't. I don't know. I thought it was funny. So you know what he told me? He's like, well, whenever somebody starts saying stuff about natives, and all you have to do is just say, yep, I used to live on the Indian reservation with them. In fact, they taught me how to scalp people. I thought that was hilarious. And then, you know, he's like, and then just walk away. It's sad to think that saying that would make me feel better. That's sad. I shouldn't feel better, but I mean, freaking people, they still think that everybody's living in teepees. So you know what? Maybe if you're watching this, thanks for that, by the way. It was always nice to talk to you, like, yeah, go back and forth like that. That was always fun. It was always nice to get a laugh out of a horrible situation. And anyways, I apologize to you and to all my Native friends. Well, and those of you who aren't my friends, and, you know, to all people of color, for not standing up for you, because I was
Scared.
like, what the come on, Whitney. And me being scared that she was going to treat me poorly, even more so than she had before. I know that that's only a fraction of what a lot of people of color have to deal with on the daily. So what the F was I afraid of? Like, come on now. I regret it because it wasn't right, and I knew better. I knew right from wrong. I knew that that wasn't okay for people to say those things. I knew that. I've grown a lot more since then. I'm like 5'3". No, I'm just kidding. I'm like 5'2", 5'2.5" on a good day. But no, I've grown a lot, and I'm not gonna let it slide. I haven't been letting it slide. It's not okay to let it slide. Sorry, I'm thinking like a slide. I just kept saying slide so many times. Do you guys ever remember when you were a kid going down on slides and you'd like, well, of course the metal ones would be hot and like burn you, but then there would be some times where it would be hot outside, but you know, if the slide wasn't like hot and you were sweaty, and then you go down the slide and you'd like, you'd like, oh, that hurt. With standing up for a lot of other people lately, a lot of other people of color, I have gotten a lot of hate for it, and I keep thinking that's not even a fraction of what people of color face like on the daily a lot of times. I've also have some people say to me,
I care about Black lives, but they don't need to be making me feel bad for being white.
So I wanted to make note that I am not doing this because people of color have made me feel bad about things I've done in the past, or said in the past, or things that I might still be saying. I don't know. I only know so much, you guys. It doesn't matter where we grew up. The fact of the matter is, our skin is still white. We don't have to face everything that you have to face. So if we're saying something that's insensitive or biased or whatever, call us out, please, because this is not okay. If you don't want to call us out, I guess you can always message me on my Instagram or something and tell me about things that have happened so that maybe I can address it in a video for you and speak up for you and tell other people, hey, look, this isn't okay. Understandably, it's scary to speak up, especially when people are saying,
you're not oppressed, you just want a handout.
It's like, do we really want to make the people who have the power, do we want to make them any more mad? Because they have the power to do even more to us than they already are. So I know that there's a lot of people of color who just sit back and, you know, it's not fair, and I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry for what my ancestors did and everything. I am sorry for the white people today who are still oppressing people of color and who are being total Karens. If anything, no person of color is making me feel ashamed to be white these days. It's actually white people who are making me ashamed to be white. The thing is, I'm white whether I like it or not. And with that, since the predominant race is white, I definitely need to stand up for people, and so do you. Think about times when you were hurting and nobody spoke up. Have you ever been beaten by your boyfriend or whoever, or have you ever had something happen to you so bad and when you've told people about it, they say,
well, that's your own fault,
or something like that? They make you feel bad for it, and it's something that you can't help. It's something that you didn't do to you. Somebody else did that to you. That's not okay. Or have you guys ever been in a swimming pool and you feel like you're drowning? You can't catch your breath, but the swimming pool is so packed and you're just getting pushed under and you keep putting your hand up for help. Nobody grabs it. You're just trying to reach for hope, reach for something. You know what that's like? Now, when you reach your hand out and somebody finally decides to grab it and pull you up, you know how good you feel? Think about it like that. How would you feel if this were happening to you? Would you hope somebody who had the power to do something would? I know if it were me, I would hope somebody would stand up for me. I'm not a powerful person. I don't have a lot of this or that, but I am white. Therefore, I have white privilege, and I don't need to be shamed to be white, and you don't either, unless you aren't doing something to help people of color. Okay, so also, whether you're white or a person of color, or you grew up here or there, or your culture's this, your religion's that, we just think, okay, well, I grew up this way. This is how it is. This is how it's been for me. And we just automatically assume that everybody's that way, but it's not. And, you know, we know that, but we're just not like actively thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, it never occurred to me that people might do things a little differently. It happens to everybody. The best we can do is to call each other out on it and learn from it so that we're not being disrespectful or biased or anything else. So be brave, learn. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like it. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Later.
In the darkest of days, sometimes we find out who we are. Be the change or hit the bottom, hit it hard. We have a choice, yeah, we can take the power away and turn it into something to believe in, believe in. It's up to you. It's up to you.